What's up everyone and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Today's video is brought to you by Audible and we'll hear more from them later.
For our first question, Cam asks if it's too soon to see Grogu again in the Book of Boba Fett.
Is it?
It's never too soon.
I'm asking the expert first.
It's never too soon.
I think it's a little too soon.
I mean, I think for the general population would be like, oh, it's Baby Yoda again, yay. But I guess you could say it's a little too soon.
I feel like,
it might not make sense for the story, but
I'm sure it will. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, as they say, and I'm just like, if the stakes were raised of like Luke is going to go train this child, but like no, you all get to see him every week still. Mm-hmm. I'm like, did anything really change? I
think this could be a flashback, though.
I think that's probably the case. And yeah, this is, I think, coming off of rumors that Grogu will appear in the Book of Boba Fett. And yeah, we know that there are going to be flashbacks in this show. We know that we're going to see Boba Fett, like, get his eyebrows back and get the Slave One back. So
just, like, sitting there drawing them on.
Yeah, he's microblading his eyebrows. So I think it's very possible that we could see the events of that episode on Tython from Boba Fett's point of view. Mm-hmm. But, you know, maybe not. Maybe we will see Grogu in some new context.
But, like, I feel like if he shows up, then Luke would have to be there.
Right. It's all just like, you know, I kind of want this to just be a Boba Fett. It's the same thing that I said about The Mandalorian, where I was like, I don't really want Luke to show up. And then he did, and I was like, okay, I like this. So...
okay, this is cool.
Yeah, like, whatever, you got me. So I feel kind of the same way where I'm like, I just want this to be Boba Fett's story. And like, you know, if it intertwines with Luke's story, then so be it.
Dustin Ferguson wants to know what we think of the Galactic Starcruiser based on the footage so far.
Have you seen any of that stuff that's come out?
The stuff that everybody's like, oh, this is cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look that different from other themed cruise
right. That's
videos.
Kind of what I was thinking. And I haven't watched any of it all the way through because I think I got to like the singing Twi'lek thing, the woman, and I was like, this is weird. And yeah. I was just like, I don't feel like watching this. So
I mean, it's to appeal to a much younger audience.
I think there's that, but I also think that, yeah, this feels like the introduction to a theme park ride. And I wonder if in context of like, I just got onto this shuttle and then you're watching these introduction videos and stuff. I think that that's kind of what they're going for, is that it is a little bit cheesy, and that's just what theme park rides do. Like, hi, I'm Bill Paxton, and I'm here to tell you about
Don't bring Bill into this.
I just think that they're kind of going for that vibe. And I did watch some of the introduction to like the welcome to the Halcyon Cruiser, and I got the vibe that character was uncomfortable on camera. And I'm like, that's kind of funny if that's what they're going for. If that was intentional, it might not have been.
Yeah.
But like, I got the sense that person in universe was like, I don't know what to do on camera. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
What are all these Earth people doing here? Yeah, it is curious to me that it got taken down. Is that true?
I think so. And I don't know any of those details either. Like if it was on an official Disney page and then they took it down, or if it was accidentally uploaded, or if it leaked. I don't know all the details on that.
Yeah.
It's the theme park side of things is not something that we really keep up with. Like, I'm excited to maybe one day do the Star Cruiser thing. And I've really enjoyed the times I've been to Galaxy's Edge, but you know, we're just not part of that group that like is obsessed with Disney and stuff and love going to theme parks and those experiences.
I'm sure if we lived closer, we might be. But this feels kind of like, to me, the fact that maybe everything isn't finished yet, and it's just not as polished as maybe they would like it to be.
Yeah, I just don't know how
they might be making changes and like putting finishing touches on it right up until it opens.
Oh, I'm sure they will. So. It's just odd that like this stuff keeps leaking or whatever. Maybe they're leaking it on purpose just to see like, how do people respond to this?
Yeah, it could be something that, you know, they're showing the investors and being like, this is kind of what we have in mind. we threw it together with some unpaid actors, maybe.
Hopefully they were paid.
I don't know.
But yeah, I do wonder if it wasn't supposed to be public facing, or I don't know. It's all just like, I don't know about the theme park world so much. But I agree that it does look very goofy and cheesy.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to judge it too harshly until, they put something out on the official website.
Yeah. I guess really when it comes down to it, I'm like, I just don't really care. Like, it's cheesy, whatever. Like, it's the theme park stuff. It's not a movie. That's what I'm more into. If that came out and it were like the Starcruiser movie coming to cinemas, then I'd be like, oof. Oof. No thanks.
Andrew Seitz asks, what one Star Wars book or comic would you give to a fan for Christmas?
Specifically a fan who is a Star Wars fan but has never really gotten into the books or comics, the expanded universe. I mean, I think it's always kind of like, what did they like about Star Wars? Always take that into consideration. But just knowing nothing about your friend or this hypothetical fan, I think Light of the Jedi is maybe the best place to jump into books right now. Since it is a series, it's not just kind of like, here's a one-off book that you can read. It's like, this is going to build. It's awesome. I love the book. So that I think is a good place to start, where it's like, you're going to get a series. It also just kind of started. We're about to get our third book. Mm-hmm. So
I think, that's a really good place to start. Start them out in a brand new era with, no expectations really. Besides that, I might do Lost Stars.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That seems to be a universally loved book, and it does have connections to other things, but you can also just read it alone and love it for what it is.
That actually, that used to be like my go-to. Give them this first, and you're still probably right. It's an easier kind of like, let's get you into this smoothly, where it's still original trilogy. You're still familiar with the events, but it's from these new characters' perspectives, and it's a great story. For comics, I think Charles Soule's Darth Vader run is probably my favorite Star Wars comic. So really anything by Charles Soule in the comic world, I don't think you can go wrong. Or in the novel world, because he did Light of the Jedi too. That, I guess, yeah, the safe people, I'm always like, Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, Cavan Scott, like anything that the High Republic authors have written, I tend to like. Delilah Dawson's also someone who I've enjoyed all of her stuff. Yeah.
Leftist Hominid wants to know what we think of the idea of Timothy Zahn writing books about the chaos during the High Republic.
Chaos being the unknown regions, that's what the Chiss call it. I mean, I would read it. It's not my first choice.
Yeah, just because he hasn't been working together with the other High Republic authors throughout this whole phase 1, I'm like a little iffy on it, but that's not to say he couldn't meet up with them and say, this is what I have in mind, and just get their input on it.
Yeah, well, if he were to do that, in my mind, it would be kind of like The Acolyte, where it's like, this is set during the High Republic. It's not part of the High Republic publishing initiative. Mm-hmm. It would just be, these are stories about the unknown regions set 200 years earlier. The Ascendancy trilogy was fine for me. I didn't love it, and I'm like, I like the idea of exploring the unknown regions, but I don't know, some of Zahn's writing is just really hard to get into, even for a Star Wars fan, where it's like there are so many weird names of like planets and species and people, and it's hard to keep it all straight. Mm-hmm. But I would be intrigued if he were to step away from the Ascendancy and the Chiss and just do something really off the wall, and follow a new culture in the unknown regions. That's appealing to me.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like kind of the opposite. Like if he's writing about the Chiss or the Grisk or something like that, it would make sense for him to do this. But yeah, it'd be interesting to read something by him that is nowhere near any of that.
Yeah. I mean, I was excited for the Ascendancy trilogy when it was announced, and I think there's definitely some interesting history that trilogy alludes to, But I'm also like, the Chiss it's a complicated culture, and it's not the most fun to read about. It's not, I don't know, I just like pulpy, somewhat goofy Star Wars fun, and that's just not what the Ascendancy trilogy was. And I know some people love it, and I'm glad, but it's just like, it's not my first choice.
Brian Rogers asks, when we'll know the schedule for 2022?
I don't think we're going to. I don't think we're going to get release dates until much closer to when they happen.
I think we may have gotten them had we not endured and are still enduring a pandemic. I think that really pushed a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff is still kind of up in the air as far as exactly when it's going to be released.
Yeah, there is that, because like in the Marvel side of things, Ms. Marvel was supposed to come out around this time. And then that got pushed into like spring of next year. So there are definitely still, I think, release date fluctuations. But even without that, I kind of think that we're not going to start getting marketing for Kenobi until the Book of Boba Fett is over. I'm thinking about, Hawkeye has one episode left. And I don't think we know what's next or when it comes out. Maybe, I think She-Hulk maybe is the next thing in line. But we don't know when that's going to release. So I think that Disney Plus is just trying to like market one Marvel show and one Star Wars show at a time.
Yeah. And like hopefully when Celebration rolls around, they can give us some vague, like this fall or fall 2023, some vague ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. So May 4th is on a Wednesday this year. I think they'll probably try to schedule something exciting for that, whether it's the premiere of Kenobi or the end of Kenobi, or just a prominent episode. Last year it was the premiere of The Bad Batch. So I don't know. I hope that there's not a big gap in between Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi, but we might have 3 months with nothing, and we'll have a Marvel show on, and then but if they do wait that 3 months, I'm like, okay, well then the schedule's definitely jam-packed for the rest of the year. With Kenobi and/or Bad Batch, Mando Season 3. Like, that's a lot.
Bring it on.
Like I mentioned before, today's video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is a leading provider of audio content and is a service we use all the time because we go through a lot of Star Wars audiobooks. We love all the Star Wars audiobooks because they're big productions with music and sound effects, so it's like listening to a movie. I would recommend picking up the first High Republic audiobook, Light of the Jedi, for yourself or as a gift now by visiting www.audible.com/Star Wars Explained or by texting Star Wars Explained to 500-500. Audible is currently running a special deal. Save 60% on your first 3 months of Audible. That's only $5.95 a month. If you sign up today, you'll get a credit for one free audiobook of any price and full access to the Plus catalog. The Plus catalog contains thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, and more. Once you get an audiobook or audio drama, it will always be yours. You own that piece of content, even if you cancel your membership. And if you get an audiobook you don't like, you can swap it out thanks to Audible's Great Listen Guarantee, which gives you up to a year to exchange an audiobook you didn't like for one you're excited to keep. That offer lasts for as long as you're a member. You can use your credit for the first High Republic novel, Light of the Jedi, or the other High Republic books, or any of the other canon Star Wars novels, which all have audiobooks out right now. If you've been wanting to get into Star Wars audiobooks, the holidays are the perfect, risk-free time to try Audible for yourself or give a membership as a gift. Start listening right now. For a limited time, save 60% on your first 3 months of Audible, only $5.95 a month. Give the gift of listening. For more, go to audible.com/Star Wars Explained or text Star Wars Explained to 500-500.
On to YouTube questions. Bernardo Pickow asks why nearly every droid in Star Wars is sentient.
Bernardo suggests that would be detrimental in some cases. Like, why do you want your astromech droid to become sentient and make decisions for itself? I mean, honestly, I think it's just down to the fact that the first droids we ever met were sentient. And so that's just kind of the model that all droids were based off of. And so that's why.
Well, I feel like the purpose of a lot of droids, whoever invented them, were probably like, we need these to be able to think for themselves to really help us out. But I mean, there's a lot of droids that maybe aren't quite as sentient. I'm thinking of at the beginning of New Hope, like a lot of the other droids that the Jawas had on the not the sail barge,
the
sandcrawler. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, R5D4 had some autonomy. The Gonk droid runs away in fear. So I think that they probably were sentient. And Bernardo points out that the mouse droid has some sentience and is fearful of Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
The battle droids seem to have less sentience, but I remember in Legends it was like a thing where if they didn't get regularly wiped, they would develop sentience and then be like mortified that they were killing machines, which is sad. I wonder if it's, one of those things where they went through the Cylon Wars, like in Battlestar Galactica, and it's like, droids don't work without sentience.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some in-universe reason for that.
Well, as from a storytelling point of view, they need to be able to convey emotion in certain times. So
right,
you need sentience for that.
It's one of those things that I think the actual reason is all story-based. It's behind the scenes. I don't know that there is an answer in universe. It's that George wanted A New Hope to be told from the point of view of R2 and 3PO, and so they had to have personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, every droid, it's like, well, I guess they all have personalities to some degree.
Drew wants to know why Padme or Bail Organa didn't suggest a vote of no confidence against Palpatine.
I think that they knew it wouldn't work.
Yeah. He had pretty much everyone on his side at that point. So It would have been a lost cause. And then it could have caused people to turn on them. So unfortunately, when stuff like that happens, a lot of politicians choose to, leave it alone.
Well, I mean, if we had that deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith, which I would consider canon, like, they weren't going to leave it alone. And I honestly don't remember the full content of that scene, meeting with Mon Mothma and Bail and Padme, and basically, like, the foundations of the rebellion. And, like, what are we going to do about Palpatine?
Yeah.
And I can't remember. They may have brought up a vote of no confidence or something, but yeah, it's just, it wouldn't have worked. It would have put them in danger. I think they saw the writing on the wall and they were like, we're going to have to do this more covertly.
Yeah. And even if they got that vote through, I feel like at that point, they probably knew that it still would have backfired. Like, the system was so messed up that, yeah, it wouldn't have been helpful.
Yeah, Mr. Sheev backup plan Palpatine, he would have had something.
Boba Fett asks why Fennec Shand, Black Krrsantan,
Sure.
and other bounty hunters weren't hired in The Empire Strikes Back.
I think we recently got a question about, why wasn't Cad Bane on the bridge of the Executor in The Empire Strikes Back? Why was it just those 6 bounty hunters? And people are going to say, oh, because they weren't created yet. And yeah, I know, but
they couldn't afford the good ones.
Well, but then why was Boba Fett there?
He was maybe just around.
Are you saying that Forlom is not the best of the best?
I'm saying Fennec Shand is probably pretty pricey.
Yeah. And I would say the same of Cad Bane. I mean, I think that they put this call out and, some people answered. Maybe multiple waves came in.
Mm.
But Boba Fett was just so fast that no one else got the chance. Although I was going to point out, Fennec Shand says that she's wanted by the ISB in The Mandalorian. So maybe she was already wanted at that time and knew, like, oh, I shouldn't take this job.
Well, I don't know a ton about Black Krrsantan, but maybe they had heard stuff about Fennec Shand and was like, we don't know where her loyalties lie exactly.
Yeah. That if she was wanted by the ISB, then they probably wouldn't want to work with her. Or if maybe they put it out and was like, maybe Fennec Shand will come in and we can arrest her. We don't know when she fell in trouble with the Empire.
Mm.
Black Krrsantan is in the comics, and he was like one of Jabba's best bounty hunters. So maybe he had like an exclusive contract at the time. Maybe all these people already had jobs, and they were like, I can't just drop this to go get some smuggler
hiding
in an asteroid field.
Martin Stallard wants to know what Palpatine would have done if he hadn't become Chancellor in The Phantom Menace.
Stomped his feet and pitched a fit.
Maybe taken up a hobby. Knitting.
I figure, like we mentioned already, he probably had a backup plan. Like, there was 10 years in between The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. So he needed to wait for the clone army to be ready to go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he probably built in some buffer time. He's like, I'm going to give myself plenty of time here to get in control of the Senate. And hey, my first plan worked. Great. And now I can just really ingrain myself in with everybody. Or maybe that wasn't his first plan. Maybe that was plan D. We don't know.
Yeah. He could have just also become like really buddy-buddy with whoever did become Chancellor.
Yeah. I think that it would have somehow shaken out over the course of those 10 years that he would be, if not in control of the Senate, have a lot of power. Because, yeah, if he works himself into the vice chair, then he just has the Supreme Chancellor assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yeah. Bail Antilles and Ainley team. They're
Yeah.
just his BFFs.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.